Mike, listen to these 5-star reviews. I can't believe I got my order so fast. Easiest exchange ever. Loyal customer for life. In the last 2 months, our reviews are better than ever.
That's because we leveled up our fulfillment process by switching to ShipStation. They're way more comprehensive than other solutions, and we save up to 90% off all major carriers.
Ugh, best upgrade ever.
Upgrade to ShipStation today to get a 60-day free trial at ShipStation.com, code AUDIO.
Since 2011, American Giant has been making everyday clothing with extraordinary effort. Not in far-off factories, but right here in the USA. We obsess over fabrics, fit, and details, because if you're going to wear it every day, it should feel great and last for years. From the cut of a hoodie to the finishing of a seam, nothing is overlooked. Our supply chain is tight-knit and local, which means less crisscrossing the country and more care in every step. The result is durable clothing, t-shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, and denim that become part of your life season after season. This isn't fast fashion, it's clothing made with purpose by people who care as much about how it's made as how it fits. Get 20% off your first order with code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com with code STAPLE20.
Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show podcast, the podcast show where we unlock potential one dream at a time. Today, we have another guest whose journey is truly worth hearing. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Moneyway experience.
What's up, my good people? Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show, where we build success brick by brick through authentic stories. I'm your host, CJ Moneyway, entrepreneur, media creator, and believer in turning hustle into legacy. Each week, we go beyond highlights and headlines, real people creating real impact in business, culture, and community. Today, I'm joined by my man, Bishop Kevin Foreman, PhD, as we was just laughing behind stage. Put some respect on my man's name before and after. A transitional leader who turned Denver's so-called church planters' graveyard into fertile ground for growth. Beyond titles and accolades, his mission is clear: to lift others up and empower over 650,000 individuals, many women building lives through practical leadership and unshakable faith. Get ready to learn, be inspired, and take action towards your brick by brick journey. Hey, no longer ado, let's welcome my man, Bishop Kevin Foreman, PhD, to the show. Hey, how you doing, Bishop, man?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Listen, so glad to be with you today. That is funny, how you said it. Put some respect before and after. But
put some respect before and after, man. You got to respect it, man. You got to respect it. And I appreciate you coming on the show, man, because it's not every day that you get the chance to chop it up, man, with a bishop, man, on your show, man. So I'm honored, man. I really am. So, Doc, man.
Thank you.
Before I go, man, before I get there, man, you got so many, before I ask you a question, man, you got so many accolades and things that you've done in the community, man, especially in Colorado. Now, I know, I've never been to Colorado myself, Bishop, because I don't really deal with the snow or the mountains like that, to be honest with you. But I also know, too, that it's not predominantly, us that's in Colorado. So
4%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's even more amazing of the things that you have accomplished there, man. So I just want to ask you a couple of things about that, man. Just, I know that you humbled and probably a lot of these things, it's like, okay, that's cool because, just your status. But man, being in the Hall of Fame, man, the Gospel Hall of Fame in Colorado, man, just tell us a little bit about that, man.
Yeah, listen, it is one of those things where I used to ask God because, Denver is 46 out of 50 for lowest church attendance in the nation. And 4%, like I said, African American. So there is not a lot of ethnic and racial diversity. So I used to think to God, I was like, God, why do you have me here? And here it was. If you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. And sometimes what God does as a blessing to us is he deals us a bad hand. He deals us a bad hand so that we learn how to play that hand well, so that anywhere else we go and anything else we do, we know how to succeed. There was a movie, Taken, with Liam Neeson, that actor, years and years ago. And they had taken his daughter, and the scene is that the daughter calls the phone, and she's hysterical. She said, "Daddy, they're coming to get me. They're coming to get me." And he said, "Look around. Tell me everything you see." And she goes through the thing. They drop the phone. The guy picks up the phone. One of the guys that's taking his daughter picks up the phone, and he can hear him breathe. And he says, "Listen, I don't know who you are. I don't know where you're from." He said, "And I don't have any money to give you." He said, "But I have a special set of skills, and I will find you, and I'm going to get you." So what bad hands give us and what being set up with the deck stacked against us, I have a special set of skills. I can take nothing and turn it into something anywhere. And that's literally what we did in Denver. And now we moved our headquarters to Atlanta, which is a whole nother world, but it comes with a whole set of challenges. But I got a special set of skills that I acquired in Denver to where I can do it anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I know that movie too, because I think it's two of them. They're taking two. I think they did a sequel of that, man. So I remember that movie and the little girl on the phone. But man, like you say, your special set of skills, man, 4%, as you say, 4% of us in Colorado. But yet and still, man, through the grace of God, you became Colorado's Pastor of the Year, man. I mean,
Yeah. I just do the work. I think a lot of people talk about it. I just decided I was going to be about it. So, I was born in Denver, raised in Memphis. So I come with that 901 Memphis energy where, in Memphis, first of all, we got our own language. Like we say Maine, M-A-N-E, like ain't it Maine? We got our own language. You got some rappers and stuff now that, so many groups and all that come out of Memphis, but Memphis is its own thing. And I just do the work. So even when it came to Pastor of the Year, I just did the work. To me, it was like, I don't want to just have church. I want to be the church. Let's impact the community. Let's impact people's lives. And let's make sure that if we were to no longer exist, it would matter. Mm-hmm. And so we did the work. And so we've given, over 250,000 pounds of clothing away. Similar to that in terms of food that we've given away. Almost 30,000 toys we've given away. Almost $1 million in missions that we've given to organizations, domestic and abroad, to be a blessing to people. Almost 5,000 backpacks and school supplies. The school districts would call us back to school and say, "Bishop, we can't meet the need. We need y'all to step in and do it." We just made sure that we did the work. And as a result of that, that work was recognized. The Colorado Gospel Hall of Fame. I didn't know we had a gospel music hall of fame because there's so few Black people and people of color there. And so I didn't even know we had it. I just did the work. I wrote all of our songs. That's actually how I got into ministry. I got into ministry at the age of 12 as a drummer. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I got the drum set is a friend of mine, he and I were very competitive. So I do something, he do something. He do something, I do something. Like that's just the nature of our friendship. So one year he gets a drum set. And so I'm like, I want a drum set. Now look, I couldn't play, had never played, didn't know the first thing about playing. I told my stepfather, I said, "Justin got a drum set. I want a drum set too." And so I tried trombone, didn't like it. Tried trumpet, didn't like it. Tried saxophone, alto sax, didn't like it. I was like, I'm going to stick with the drums. All those drums, I got good, eventually started doing choirs and music and keyboards and all of that and leading large choirs and building choirs and stuff like that and praise and worship. And it just matriculated from there. All of the singles we've released, I wrote and executive produced them all. They've done amazing. But it was just one of those things of like, I have been a person who has just done the work. And I'll be honest with you, only recently am I really recognizing the value of telling the story? Because I'm the type, I just do the work. And I think you have to do both. You're going to have to tell your story as well as maintain your success at the same time.
And you know what, Bishop, man, as you said that, I'm thinking about, I interviewed a guy the other day from New York, from the Bronx to New York. And we both had a connection with this guy, Marcus Ogden. He played football, played for the Jaguars. And so he said, CJ, he said, man, I seen the interview with you and Marcus. He said, I'm on his show in November. I said, I'm on his show in November too. And he said, CJ, he said, man, I can't wait to see you on Marcus' show. He said, because I see you on your show, but I know that you got a story to tell too. Yep. And he said, I can't wait to see your story, man, the story that you got to tell. So what you saying that, it make me think about, like, people can see me on this side interviewing Bishop, but Corey also got a story to tell itself. You know what I'm saying? That people want to hear. Like, which leads me into this, man. Lead me into my question, Bishop. The man behind the title. You know, because beyond being a bishop, beyond being a doctor, it's also the man that had to come out. You know what I'm saying? The real you, the real you. So let me ask, man.
You see how I'm filling up my chest. Like, I'm excited for this question. Yeah, it's a journey, man.
So it's a journey, man. Hey, so let me ask you, Bishop, before the pulpit, what was a defining moment that almost broke, but ultimately built your faith?
Yeah. You know, so growing up, you heard me mention my stepfather. My stepfather was like Ike Turner reincarnate. He was a womanizer. He was an abuser. And he was everything. Seeing him was everything that I didn't want to be in a man, while simultaneously being able to learn and grow from him. Because that man could sell. You want to talk about a businessman? That man could sell. He would take your hat that you got on and sell it to you, and you'd be like, I got a great deal. Man, this is your hat. He was very charismatic, and he knew how to sell and how to make things happen and what have you. And so it was one of those scenarios wherein, you know, I was able to learn a lot while simultaneously saying, man, this is not the man I want to be. And even as a kid, you know, I was parentified in the sense that I had to deal with a lot of adult stuff as a child. Mm-hmm. And it was really a gift. See, the thing about my mind is that I view all of these things that most people view as negative, I view them as a gift. See, I see rejection as protection. I see abandonment as assignment and acceleration. I see a valley as really a path to victory. It's these mental reshifts and resets of how you view things that really give you the courage, the tenacity to be successful at whatever you do. And so seeing that, it drove me to God. Mm-hmm. So when I would experience some of these things, that's what really drove me to God. The joke is I came out of my mom's womb with a Bible and a briefcase, because since I was a kid, I had this affinity towards spirituality and business and success. And I saw that those two things work together. I didn't see them as separate. A lot of times in culture, people like to separate those two. Like, if I'm going to be spiritual, I can't be successful. And if I'm going to be successful, I can't be spiritual. No, that's not Bible at all. Mm-hmm. Revelation 5:10 says he makes us kings and priests. And one man or one woman, whoever's watching right now, there's two realms in you. There's a king in you or queen. And there's a king, and a priest in you, which means you're spiritual and you're successful. You can pray and you can slay. You can give God glory and you can go get that bag. Like, it's not either or, it's both and. So that was my mentality coming out of my mom's womb. I always saw things like that. And so, like I said, I started my first business when I was 12 and got into ministry when I was 12. I started this business. It was an enterprise, you know, as much as I was going to do. I was going to do lawn care, tutoring, and a bunch of other things. And I did it. I got a business loan. It was a $600 loan from this bank called Young Americans Bank. In fact, in Denver, they still have my picture up. They have a second floor called Ameritown where they go train entrepreneurs and future leaders. And you have to walk upstairs to get there. Every entrepreneur that walks up those stairs has to see a black man standing right there, holding up his business plan, because I was the first one. I pioneered the program. We created it. And so, you know, that was a lot of that, though. I was driven to do those things, and I was driven to succeed because I saw, I don't want to be that man. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be that man. So God gave me that as a gift to say, this is what I don't want to do. And so it was really pivotal to me because it really shaped how I approach life. The man I am is a man I built, not a man I saw.
I like that, man. Yeah. You know, because as you said that, I always say that my brother, he used to watch me. Yeah. And I got a lot of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm, you know, my father, and he looked at my life and was like, you know what, man, I'm going down another path. You know, I'm not doing what he did and get into the stuff that he did, you know. And so I'm listening to what you say. When you do view somebody and you see, you know, like, okay, I'm not going to do that. Okay, I do like this, but no, I'm not going that way. His life, you know what I'm saying, as far as being a father, being a husband, you know, his life to start off was better than mine because I took the long way around, you know what I'm saying, to get to that point of being a husband and trying to be a good father and things of that nature, man. So it do matter what you see and, you know what I'm saying, things that you try to avoid in life too, man. And so let me ask you, Bishop, how did your upbringing shape the way that you lead today?
I think really good. Now, one of the things, I'm going to start with one of the things that is a double-edged sword in the sense that there's a positive side to it, and I think also an unintended negative side to it. It parentified me, as I mentioned earlier. And what that really looked like was that I made a lot of decisions thinking like a father, and I ain't got no kids. And while that's good because that gives you a sense of responsibility, that's a good thing. So I'm a very consistent person. I'm a very disciplined person. If I say we're doing it, we're going to do it. Those were good qualities because I was thinking like a father, because for my brother and sister, I was really more of a father to them than I was a brother to them because of our scenario. But I also, I didn't do a lot of stuff a lot of kids would do, a lot of spending the night over a friend's house and stuff. I didn't do a whole lot of that because in my mind, I got to be home because what happens if he, depending on whatever drug of choice he's going to be on this week, what happens if he goes crazy? I got to be there for my mom. I got to be there to protect her. I got to be there to do that. So it gave me a lot of sense of responsibility. The unintended consequence of that was that I would consider people, and basically the best way to say it is I would set myself on fire to keep other people warm. So that was the unintended consequence of that. So there was a good side, and I won't even say bad. I'll just say there was an unintended consequence of that. But that upbringing taught me, make it happen. That upbringing taught me, don't let other people decide your life. So the moment I saw the power of making money and being successful, I said, that's my life. Because nobody is going to control my life. I'm seeing what control does. And that's too much power for one man to have over me. That's too much power for one man to have. So what it did is it drove me to be a creator. It drove me to be an entrepreneur. It drove me to be, your question is, how does it affect how I lead? It drove me to be an empowerer of people. So anybody that watches me, anybody that watches a message or sees a pop-up, you're going to be empowered. You're not going to get a slave gospel over here of woe is you and you a victim and you're going to get empowerment. You're going to be given the tools you need to change your life.
Hey, Bishop, man, help me with this, man. I was just telling somebody this a couple of weeks ago. Something came across my mind because I was thinking about leadership because I was going to be on a leadership podcast.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about some stuff or whatnot. And listening to what you just said, you said when you was younger, you had to, look after your brother and sisters, and then you had to take the responsibility, to watch out for your mother. And so one thing that I was thinking about when I was telling somebody this was that a lot of times with leadership, you have to draw back on your childhood experience. Like, being a leader, a lot of us play sports. You play football, you play basketball, and you was the captain of the football team, or you was the captain of the basketball team, or, you out there on the playground and, you that leader, man. So, and then when you get older, sometimes but I think that, your consistency, you stay with it from 12 years old until you where you are now. Yeah. But then some of us falter, and not really know that it's a leader inside of them. But then when God puts you in a position, you have to draw back on that. You be like, man, and this is just me. That's why I'm asking you, to clarify this for me. You sit back and you be like, man, God had always equipped me with leadership abilities and leadership skills. I just never followed the path in where God was taking me. You know what I'm saying? Because the Bible says, train a child in the way they should go. When they get older, they won't depart from it. But a lot of times we depart from some certain things in our life. You know what I'm saying? But God has, like you say, it's two people in you. It's the king and it's the priest. You know what I'm saying? Sir. You got two elevations going on, man. So clarify that for me, Bishop, man, a little bit.
Yeah, I love what you said, because a lot of my straying was actually in my formative years. Like, I used to pray a crazy prayer. I'm just different. I've always been different. And I think you've been different. Like, people who do different things are different people. The people who change the world are the people that other people say, that man is crazy. Yep. You ain't gonna change the world. Like, world changers and history makers are often called crazy by regular people. So I never let regular people define me, because you wouldn't get me. You wouldn't understand me, because, regular wouldn't understand it. Even your viewers, there's something unique and amazing about them because they connect with a message like what you're giving to help empower people. And I love what you said, brick by brick, because that's the way you do it. Like it's brick by brick. And then you begin to scale it, right? So it's brick by brick. And then I learned, let me get a team together to come bring the bricks. And like you learn how to scale it and grow it and do it from there. And then you realize, look, I don't even have to own it. Let me sub it out. And then my money make me money, that type of thing. But to your question, I was a bad little boy. I was talking about this with my mother the other day. I was a bad little boy. My great-great-grandmother, who we called Mimi, she was in Orange Mound, Memphis, community in Memphis. And she had a little shotgun house.
MJG and 8-Ball.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So my cousin was a member of 3-6.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Orange Mound. So you already know. So I was bad. So she would say stuff and I'd tell my listeners, we ain't got to listen to her. She ain't our mama. I was just bad. I was very mannish. That was me. That's me, man. That was me. I got some stories to tell.
That was me all day long, bitch.
You get it?
Yeah.
So I was that way. So I was that way as a kid and, as a little boy. And really all of this rambunctious, seemingly rebellious behavior, that was the leader in me that didn't have anywhere to put that energy. So it came out in challenging the leader. And I think some people got it, a lot of times when, especially like moms and sons and dads and sons, if your child is like rebellious or they are having some of those challenges, many times that's the leader in them that just needs focus. It's the leader in them that just needs direction. And so that was me. I was bad when it came to that. I would do my own thing. You tell me to step over here, I'm stepping over here. You say sit down there. I'm like, well, no, but why can't I sit over there? Like, this type of thing. They have footage of me at weddings and stuff as a kid. Like they would have to give me dollars to stand in the wedding pictures. They'd be like, hey, stand in the picture. I'd be like, no, I don't want to stand in the picture. I'm not standing in the picture. Here go $1. All right. And what was it? It was just, there it is, that king and that priest, that spiritual and that success. All of that was always percolating on the inside. It just needed focus. And really, it was a lot of the, things that I went up as a child, growing up, all of that. That's what helped me focus. I took what was meant for evil and like turned that for good.
Man, yeah. I like it, man, because you making me laugh. That was me too. Curious, mannish,
Yep.
Was raised mother and father, but I still, I still had some things, in me. My mother raised me up in the church, taking me to church. But I'm going to tell you, Bishop, even though my mother raised me in the church, you get to a certain age, they'd say you can go if you want to or not. What the Bible says, he's of age, he can speak for himself, So it's like you get to a certain point, mama like, hey, if you want to go, you want to go. If not, you don't have to go. But it wasn't until my father, he was reading the Bible. He started studying the Bible. He taught me. He the one showed me what a concordance was or whatever. The Bible says, "Study thyself to be approved." So man, he used to be in the basement all the time, Bishop. Just reading and studying. And at this point, I was wilding out. I was doing my thing. But so I seen what he was doing, but I really didn't have nothing to do with me. I'm out here in these streets. I'm doing me. But as I look back, Bishop, man, and, my father had been passed away 10 years, November 22nd. Thanks, man. November 22nd. But Bishop, man, as I look back at it, I think that was the turning point. Because, before he passed away, we became real close, saying? Like real close. When I was a child, we was close. He used to take me to baseball games and things like that. But we became real close because, like you said earlier, like I do have kids. And sometimes, like my youngest, he's a 14-year-old. And so I'd be like, man, I can't stoop down to a foot. You worry like, why my kids don't talk to me? Why they don't do this and this and that? Because things that they talking about, I don't want to talk about what he talking about all the time. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Like we talk sports, but we just don't have a lot in common to talk about. And so I started thinking about that with my father. It was just things that we didn't have in common to talk about until I got in the Word myself, Bishop. When I got in the Word myself, now me and my father's relationship became better, because now we can talk on the level that he was on, although he was on another level, but we could talk on the level that he was on. And I think that changed my perspective of what a man actually does. What, like you say, you got that leader in you or whatever, is that we do a lot of things in silence, silence
so
that goes unrecognized, but you the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. And as you were saying about your mother, man, we are the protectors. And as I realize now being a father, and I told my oldest son that has a kid now that he'll be telling his child the same thing, that my father was telling me that I thought I wasn't paying attention to. But as protectors, man, as leaders, man, we have to get grounded ourselves so that we can show our children and our sons, how to be men in this world, man. And so that's something that I took out of that.
Yeah. If I can throw this on there, while I don't have natural children, and actually, it's so funny, I was having this conversation with my mother and grandmother on Sunday at brunch after church, is I've raised a lot of grown people. And so my assignment, everybody's assignment in the earth is different. Your assignment has come through natural children. That's not to say that I won't at some point. I got time. But for me, a lot of my assignment was from a very early age. I was always in the room with people who were older than me, who looked to me to mentor, to guide, to direct. And so, in the realm of the Bible, there's a scripture in 1 Corinthians that says, though you have many instructors, you don't have many fathers. So early on, I took a very paternal type approach, which again goes back to childhood, because I always thought like a father. So my nature when I would get around people was to be very paternal and fatherly. And so I can't tell you the number of stories, men, women of all ages, where I walked them through, not like just a pastor, not just a teacher, not just a leader, but walk them through life, walk them through challenges, walk them through all of that. And a lot of times, you just said, a lot of what we do in silence, and we do it behind the scenes. And that's been a lot of my journey, is a lot of that development of people behind the scenes as a father would. And so I think recognizing that is one of the greatest tools and most rewarding things you could ever do, I think is important too. And so to your point, having that word as the foundation, I think that's important, because at the end of the day,
Fall is all about cozy comforts, but when you're prioritizing your health, it's easy to feel like you're missing out. With Hero Bread, you can enjoy all your fall favorites because they're made with Hero Bread sliced bread loaves, tortillas, bagels, dinner rolls, and more. Try their all-new Hero Noodles with 12 grams of protein and just 80 calories. So skip replacing every carb with cauliflower and indulge in your breakfast, lunch, and dinner time favorites while still hitting your goals. From breakfast bagels and meal prepped enchiladas to mouth-watering burgers and cheesy noodles. You won't believe Hero Bread's options have 0 to 5 grams net carbs and are high fiber from the taste and texture. They've even got small batch drops of indulgent favorites like the popular Hero Croissant. And right now, Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code FALL25 at checkout. That's FALL25 at hero.co. All figures are per serving of Hero Bread. Contains 2 to 18 grams of fat per serving. See the product nutrition panels on hero.co for more information.
Oh my, listen to these 5-star reviews. I can't believe I got my order so fast. Easiest exchange ever. Loyal customer for life. In the last 2 months, our reviews are better than ever.
That's because we leveled up our fulfillment process by switching to ShipStation. They're way more comprehensive than other solutions, and we save up to 90% off all major carriers.
Ugh, best upgrade ever.
Upgrade to ShipStation today to get a 60-day free trial at ShipStation.com, code AUDIO.
Are you scouring the web for the best Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals? Stop it. Get Rakuten. Rakuten is a shopping sidekick that gets you cash back on gifts for everyone on your list. Right now, you can get up to 15% cash back at the stores you love. You can even stack cash back on top of the biggest sales of the year. That's savings on savings. It's more time shopping and less time searching. With Rakuten, you're always saving at your favorite stores on the things you're already buying. Cash back is automatically added to your account as you shop, and you can get paid with gift cards, PayPal, or check. Or eligible American Express card members can even choose to earn membership rewards points instead of cash back. It's truly a no-brainer. Now's the time to join. Up to 15% cash back ends on 12/2. Plus, new members will receive a welcome bonus after minimum qualifying purchases. Just go to Rakuten.com, download the app, or install the browser extension. That's RAKUTEN. Terms and conditions apply.
Things are going to change. At the end of the day, what's popping and what's hot and what's fresh and what's not, that's going to change. What people are listening to, that's going to change. but that word is going to remain the same, especially if you just look around the world today. It's like everything is crazy. But that word remains the same.
Check out the movement. Family, real quick. Lean in. If you're listening to this right now, then you already know the Moneyway ain't just a podcast. It's a movement. So make sure you tap into everything we building. It's a Moneyway movement music. New tracks dropping every week. It's the CJ Moneyway Show. Global ranked, purpose-driven voices. Moneyway mindset. Daily inspiration. Real talk, no fluff. You can find it all right now on Instagram, YouTube, and everywhere you stream. Just search out your Moneyway. That's where purpose lives. That's where the next level starts. And that's where we leveling up. Together. Now let's get back to the show.
Out of that way, say the heavens and earth shall pass away.
Yes, sir.
But my word shall remain forever.
Well,
and that's something like you say, we got to stand on, man. That solid foundation, man. So let me ask you, Bishop, man, when you off stage and out of the spotlight, what keeps you grounded?
Oh, this is good. This is good. So one, I think when you think of the concept of grounded, it's like, how do you not get caught up? You can't get high off your own supply. You can't get high off of your own press. And I think for me, it's recognizing a few things. That one, that God is responsible for it all. Every ounce of success. Sometimes I just sit back and I just look over my life and say, God has been good to me. Even if I'm in a frustrated moment. This morning, I'm just going through my morning routine, having my protein shake, and I just start smiling real big when I'm looking out over the city of Atlanta. And I said, God, you've been so good to me. I was like, sure, I got some stuff I got to deal with. Sure, I got some stuff that's frustrating me, but you've been so good. So one, I recognize that everything that I have, everything that I've done, everything that I will do, it's because of God. It's not just because of my education. It's not just because of my work ethic. It's not just because of my background, talent, or skills. This is God. And somebody might say, well, how do I know that it's God? Well, just look at other people who are similarly situated and look at how much better you're doing. Look at how much more you are accomplishing. And then don't just judge it by stuff. Look at the state of your mind. Like being in your right mind is a big deal because it's a lot of people. I don't know about you, but it's a lot of people that have lost their mind. They are gone. You're like, what planet are you on? Where are you doing? And so number one is God. Number two, I recognize that the same people who celebrate me on Sunday might say, crucify me on Monday. Same thing they did to Jesus. So I never buy into the hype. I never buy into, oh, you're there, okay. Which is why I'm just recently realizing I really need to start telling more of the story as it's continually in motion. A friend of mine said, Bishop, it's a lot of people out here who talking about stuff they've never done. He said, you've done it all and you never talk about it. And I said, that's a good point. He says, no, like you got the receipts. He says, you have the receipts and you don't talk about it. And so, but that's just because I don't believe the hype. I think God has been good. And I think I love when people celebrate me, but I also recognize that the people who celebrate you one day might crucify you the next day. Third thing that keeps me grounded is in recognizing that at the end of the day, life is a vapor. And it can change quickly. My grandfather, who, although he's my grandfather, he was my greatest spiritual son. Anything I gave him to do, he'd make it happen. And he passed away pretty unexpectedly. He bumped his head on a Monday, goes into the hospital on a Wednesday. They say there's an aneurysm, but it'll be a quick procedure. Should take no more than an hour on a Thursday. By Friday, he's in a coma. By Saturday, emergency meeting. By Sunday, another emergency meeting. By Monday at 9:28, he's gone. They said he had the body of a 30 or 40-year-old, and he was in his late 70s, 77, in fact. And they said that he was in great shape. And just like that, unexpectedly, life changed. So what keeps me grounded is that life can change real fast. And so the best thing to do is enjoy the moment you're in, take in the moment that you're in, like celebrate this, but just recognize this stuff can change real fast.
I told you, man, I do it. I said it in front of the beginning. I knew you was a humble man, so you really don't, say it because it is what it is. Because your humbleness, you don't, you like, okay, you just take it in because what he say, I've been up and I've been down. I've been abased and I've been bound, but I learned through the two to be content with whatever situation I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, sir.
You know, I don't get too high and get too low, man, because as you were saying, because that word, it keeps you balanced. You know what I'm saying? Even in your most frustrating days, you know that you can pull off of that because as you said, man, God been good to me no matter what today is. You know what I'm saying? Today may not be a good day, but it's a good day because the day that the Lord has made.
Yes, sir.
But it's still a good day because I'm breathing. Because you told me something, man. You made me think about it when you said, made me think about him when you was talking about the drums and things of that nature. I had a pastor in Detroit, Pastor Hill. And, you know, same way he got into being a pastor and everything, he played the keyboard, you know, he played the organ and stuff or whatever. And one thing he told me, Bishop, he say, son, whatever you was looking for yesterday, he said, as long as God wakes you up tomorrow, it's possible that you can get it tomorrow.
It's possible.
He say, but that which you was looking for yesterday, if you don't wake up tomorrow, that you was looking for, you won't receive it that day either. So, you know what I'm saying? So basically he said, as long as I'm here, thank God that I'm here, and whatever I was looking for in the past, it's still obtainable. You know what I'm saying? I still can get it, but if I'm not here, then I definitely can't get it. You know what I'm saying? That always stuck with me, man. He told me that probably about 15 years ago. And I always bring that. I kept that in my toolbox. You know, on my sad days, like, hey, I may have been looking for a sponsorship yesterday or whatever, but it didn't happen. But as long as I'm here today, you know what I'm saying? It's a possibility that it can, man. So I'm going to stay where I'm at. So, Bishop, man, I've been enjoying this, man. Let me ask you, man. Building against all odds. We talked about this earlier about you in Denver, me in Colorado. Now you're in Atlanta. But let me ask you, man. Denver, it was called the Church Planters Graveyard.
Graveyard, yeah.
What made you stay and strive in that atmosphere?
Wow. You know what? I want to throw one thing on what you just said. I like to say it like this. If I still got a pulse, you still got a plan. Every moment I got a pulse, there's still a plan that's working, which is pretty much what you were just saying, just said it another way. What made me progress is back to that inner fighter, going back to childhood, being a fighter from a young age and a protector and all of that. I was like, I want to fight to see the results. So we planted a church. I didn't want to be a pastor, by the way. So some people, this is what they want to do. They'll go print certificates offline and they'll go get all this crazy. I didn't want to be a pastor. I didn't want to be a bishop, which for those unfamiliar, it's just a pastor to pastor is the best way to think of it. Just like military, right? You got generals who are over other officers, best way to think of it. And then you have the different ranks. And so I didn't want to do that. Like, I was like, I don't want to do that. I was simultaneously in business, but I was doing well in business. And then for ministry, because I know how to start organizations, organizational management, marketing, those types of things. I was traveling, doing that. And I was in an associate pastor role. And then then I have this dream that this is what I'm supposed to do and move forward. God essentially forces my hand to do it. I was like, I don't want to do this. So the first service we do, it's packed. That's because I invited every dancer, every Christian rapper, every singer. I invited everybody. It's packed. It's packed. You got a standing room only. As a matter of fact, the church we were renting, the pastor came in and said, well, you're going to be trying to buy the building from me in a little bit. I said, well, next week, 7 people. 7 people. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And let me tell you how against it I was, the concept. I would literally on Saturday nights, sometimes not preach. I would play a Medea movie. Now, I just need y'all to know that's crazy. But to me at that time, I was like, yep, we do praise and worship, we do offering. And I say, today's service, we're going to watch this movie. There's some principles in it y'all need to learn. Like, I was so against it. When it came to doing the first communion, it was my mom, in fact, who said, now, what are we going to do communion? I said, oh, yeah, I guess we need to do communion. So I was against it. And I think to your question of what made me keep going is that when I finally accepted that this was God's plan, I gave him a yes. And when I give my yes, you give it your all. And I think for some, this is the challenge they face in life is you want 100% out of something you're only giving 75% to. You can't get 100 out of what you're not putting 100 in. So what made me keep going is that when I realized this is what God wants me to do, I'm going to give it my all. And so we did crazy things that were crazy fake moves. We went on TV. We were less than a year old. We were on a bunch of networks, Fox, UPN, Ion. We would do that. We had one camera, and the camera guy was from the Ohio Center for Broadcasting. I think they've rebranded since then. And he struggled to keep me in the frame. So here's what I knew enough to know. All right, if I got one camera, He can do that. And then every time I get off frame, we're going to shoot some B-roll of the people responding in the congregation, clapping, and that kind of thing. Shoot some tight shots because we were in a school auditorium. Shoot some tight shots for the B-roll. I found a girl who did this one very popular TV preacher that was doing her editing. I found her. I said, she's going to do my editing. So our program came out and it looked like we've been around for years and we got tens of thousands of people. Because I was like, God, I'm going to give it my best. And when I gave God my yes, I gave it my best. That's what made me keep going. And like I said, you fast forward, over 12,000 people have given their lives to the Lord so far. Well over 15,000 are connected in our database. When you add all our socials and all of that, you got, well over 600, almost 700,000 that are connected in some way, shape, form, or fashion. This year alone, over 1,500 people have given their lives to the Lord. But again, the way I view it is that's a small drop in the bucket. It's 8 billion people on the planet.
Man, I'm loving it, Bishop, man. Hey, so let me ask you, Bishop, man, before I go any farther, man, I got a few more questions with you, man, because we've been chopping it up, and I appreciate you again, man, coming on the show, man, dropping these nuggets on us. Really
yes,
do.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Bishop, where can we find your music at? Where can we find you at, man? I know we can find them on Instagram, y'all. Hey, go to Instagram. My man, Bishop Kevin Foreman, PhD, is on Instagram doing his thing, man, talking. I've been watching them myself. But where can we follow you at, man? Where can we find you at, Bishop?
Yes, sir. So really, bishopforeman.com, FOREMAN.com. My books are there. Done some amazing books about finance, books about breaking generational curses, books about being an evolutionary, which is different than a revolutionary. When you evolve, you could never go back to being what you were. Revolution just means change. Evolution means change for the better, always. So books are there. Songs we've done, some amazing music that people can get their hands on. That's there to get, all connected to everything. We got an app. We got so many resources that add value to people's lives. BishopForeman.com and on all the socials at Bishop Foreman. People can connect and get the information right there. But that's the best way. Bishop Foreman, FOREMAN.com.
I'm on it, man. I got to get some of these resources. Plus, I want to talk to you about something when we get off myself, man. But let me ask you, Bishop, man, before we get to leadership and legacy.
Yeah.
What advice would you give young leaders about turning vision into impact?
I think number one, realize that vision is progressive. What you see today may evolve tomorrow. Meaning, don't lock yourself into a box. I'll just use me for an example. I didn't see, we talk about social and all those things we do now. For a while, I kind of saw social media as a nuisance, if you want the truth. I saw podcasts and videos and all this. I was like, this is such a nuisance. Here's what I would say. I'm a real pastor. I don't need to do all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Because I didn't recognize that the medium had changed. I was used to traditional TV. I was used to, sitting on set and you got makeup and you got all of that and you got your director. I was used to that. And then on social, the craziest thing to me is I remember I was sitting around 50,000 or so on Instagram and it just wasn't moving. And I remember asking a friend of mine who was doing really well, I said, what are you doing? And he just said, I just speaking to the camera and just, and he had an Android too. And I said, you speaking to that Android and that, like, what are you doing? And he said something powerful. He said, I asked God, I got mad at God because I said, God, why weren't people inviting him to preach? Why aren't they giving him a stage? And he said, God spoke to him and said, I gave you a stage, it's in your hand. And so he said, I just talked to the phone. And I was like, that's it? I was like, so who's helping you? There was no secret sauce. When I heard that there was no secret sauce, I was like, well, if it works for him, let me see if it works for me. I was on a flight to Chicago maybe a week or so later and getting ready to board the plane. And I was like, let me just look at my phone, do a quick video. So, when you're in the boarding area, you kind of talking kind of low because you don't want to be too loud, that type of thing. So I'm talking kind of low. I do a video. That video now has probably gotten 20, 30, 40 million views, something like that across the platforms. And I was flying Southwest because that was the best flight. And the only reason I mention that is because anybody that's ever flown them knows that their Wi-Fi is not the best. So I had to quickly get the video posted before the flight took off because I knew it wasn't going to work in flight. And I got the video posted. I landed like 40,000 likes. I was like, what? And all of a sudden, boom, it began to take off. And I had to recognize my vision was progressive. So to leaders who want to make an impact, your vision of the impact, number one, vision is progressive. Number two, vision must be fought for and defended. You're going to have lots of things try to get your attention, You're going to have to decide what you're going to focus on. Being focused is not just what you say yes to, it's what you say no to. In fact, the major part of focus is how to say no. No to this, no to this, no to this, no to this. When it comes to building business, I knew I wanted businesses. I own a PE firm, so private equity, so mergers and acquisitions. This is totally separate from the church and ministry things. And I realized for that, my focus is ministry. So I don't have time to be involved in the day-to-day operations of my other entities and my other businesses. And so it's about, what do I say no to? I say no to 99% of deals. I say no to 99% of offers put in front of me. I can only say yes to the 1%. If you want to be the 1%, you only say yes to 1%. And finally, when it comes to vision, I would say, and vision to impact, is recognizing that you don't chase money, you chase purpose. And when you chase purpose, money chases you. When you do the thing you're supposed to do, you'll find a way to monetize it. When you do the thing you were created to do, you'll find a way to monetize it. I never have chased, oh, I'm going to do this because it makes a lot of money. I'm going to do this because it makes a lot of money. I was like, I'm going to do this because this is what I do. And as a result, resources have always flown to me.
I like that, man. Don't chase it, man. They say that it'll chase you down. You know, blessings will chase you down. You know, like you said, once you walk into your purpose, man.
Yes, sir.
I could elaborate on that, man. But for the sake of time, Bishop, hey, we gonna keep it moving real quick. So let me ask you, Bishop, man, how do you balance ambition and humility and service all together?
Ooh, this is good. I love that question. First of all, there's nothing wrong with being ambitious. In fact, I view it like this. I remember one time, one of the facilities we were renting, the guy said to me, he says, he was a Korean gentleman. And so he was speaking to me and he said, the harvests are too aggressive. I said, what are you talking about? He said, you all are doing too much to reach too many people. He said, Jesus Christ would not be aggressive. I said, thank you for confirming that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. To me, even from a biblical standpoint, there's nothing wrong with ambition. The Bible says, don't think more highly of yourself than you ought to. It doesn't say don't think more highly of yourself. It doesn't say there's anything wrong with knowing that greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. There's nothing wrong with that. And when I recognized that, I realized that I got a limited amount of time to do as much as I can while I can. So I must be ambitious. I won't even say balance. Humility comes in, going back to those things we talked about. I realize that as ambitious as I am, it's still God that's going to bring the success, not by might nor by power, but by his spirit. I realize that the same people who are with me on Monday might not be with me on Tuesday. So I recognize that that can change. And then finally, I realize that I got a limited amount of time. So I always go back to those things that keeps me in a place to where, like, I want to be ambitious. I'm going to go after what I want to go after. There's nothing wrong with that. And at the same time, I keep those three principles in mind. Because at the end of the day, here's what I learned. No matter how much you get, no matter how much you accomplish, there is still something that only God can do for you. There's still a sense of purpose that only God can give you. And how do we know that? They say that most millionaires are unhappy. Most people strive to become millionaires. That's their goal. But when they get there, they're not happy because the money didn't do for them what they thought it would. That's because only God can do that.
You know, and to that point, I get so many people, CEOs and coaches and things of that nature that was in, you know, working for Fortune 500 companies and things like that, and got to the pinnacle, like you said, you know, making money and life good, but they wasn't happy because it wasn't fulfilling the purpose of their life. You know what I'm saying? You know, they reached all the way here, but then they had to come back, you know what I'm saying, and find, like, what was they missing? You know what I'm saying? There was something missing on this journey, and most of them say it was the purpose of their life, man. That's why I like bringing people on like yourself and others, man, because like you said, I'm glad that you decided to start sharing your stories and getting out here on podcasts and sharing stuff, because people be inspired by, you know what I'm saying, because they can see Bishop where he is now, and, you know, 650,000 plus, and, you know, Hall of Fame, and, you know, recording all the things of that nature. But they don't know the struggle. They don't know the trials and tribulations, like you spoke through earlier. Like, I was a bad child. I was a managed child. You know what I'm saying? I did this and that. Like, people may not know that. Like, when you going through life, you know what I'm saying? We can see a person where they are now, but we don't know what they've been through. And so that's what I like to highlight here on the CJ Moneyway Show, because it's more than just, you know what I'm saying, the success. It's like the stories behind the success, man, because we all, as we was talking about earlier, we all had to build and start brick by brick, man. We all had to start somewhere with a solid to build a solid foundation.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So, can I just throw one thing on there too? What you just said, to just add to what you said, is lots of people see glory, but they don't know story. And it's the story that actually makes the glory worth something. Even when I'm talking to people, it's nice to know their accomplishments, but you know what I like to know? I like to know your wounds. I like to know where you were cut. I want to know where you were hurt. One, it normalizes it for me, so I see this is everybody's process. But two, it helps me to appreciate what's been accomplished, because sometimes when you're going through things, you can feel like I'm the only one. It's just me. My journey's so hard. Nobody knows the trouble
I go through. Nobody knows.
Exactly.
My sorrows.
My sorrows. But the truth is, everybody do.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their cross to bear, their journey to walk through. And so to me, it's just one of those things that, again, I could give you a million stories of times I was like, come on, God. Come on, God. Come on.
Yeah.
And then he came through, so, just want to throw that in there.
Yeah, I like it, man. And you know when he come through, because you've been denied, and like you say, denied ain't delay, it's the delay. But you know what I'm saying? You go through stuff, and then, then it finally have people like, man, this was nothing but by the grace of God. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank you. And things happen for a reason at the time that it's supposed to happen, man. So, listen, man, I only got like 2 more questions for you, man.
Yes, sir. I got you,
man.
No, you good. I appreciate it.
Money, practice, and practicality. You often connect faith to practical steps. What's one financial or entrepreneurial principle you wish every believer would adopt?
Oh, my God. So here it is. I believed this before I was a pastor, before I was a bishop. Faithful giving. I say it like this: faithful givers flourish. I am a tither. I am a sower. I know there's a lot of people saying a lot of things about it. Here's what they should have done before I saw it work. If you wanted me not to believe in the principle, you should have tried to tell me not to believe in it before I saw it work. I have been that way since I was a kid and I learned about it. And I've been a faithful tither, faithful giver, sowing above my tithes since I was 12 years old. And that principle alone, my first book is called Making Money Moves, The Art of Getting Your Finances in Order. After building, so one of the things we didn't talk about is I built, by the age of 21, I built Denver's largest Black-owned real estate finance brokerage, mortgage company. Over the weekend, the entire industry collapsed. We didn't see it hit Wall Street until, the big bailout and all that, until 2008. Well, in the secondary markets, that stuff was happening back in 04, 05, 06, 07. Like it builds up before. By the time you see it hit the main market, that stuff has been percolating for years. An oversimplification of it, but there it is. And so I remember thinking, God, how am I even here? How am I going to get through this? And I literally gave this. It's going to sound crazy to some people. I gave my way out, and I gave my way into debt freedom. I gave my way out, and I saw the principle work. To me, I think that's one of those top principles. You should see it work. And there's, again, without jumping into the weeds about it, people say this, people say this, people say this. At the end of the day, look at it for yourself, study it for yourself. In fact, on our website, I do a whole bunch of teaching about it. So if people go to bishopforeman.com, they can get a whole bunch of teaching about it. In that book, get teaching about it. That's number one. Second principle, I would say, for people is that you are running, when you talk about being an entrepreneur, you are running a business, not a charity. And the reason that's important to understand is you can't make decisions. Let me give you an example. You can't make decisions like, I'm going to help my friend out and give him a job. If your friend don't know what he's doing, this is not charity work.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to help my mama out. I'm going to help my cousin out. I'm going to help my sister out. I have fired family members. Unapologetically. If you can't execute, you can't execute. And when it comes to running business, and even if you are legitimately running a charity or a nonprofit, it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to do things with good business principles. So number two is stick to good business principles. Like if you're going to hire people, they need to be able to execute. If you're going to be a business, treat your customer well. Make sure that you give people a reason to return and to do business with you. So I would say number two is just have good business principles. Run it like a business and build an empire. That's what I was saying.
I like that. Brick by brick. Because I like what you said earlier. You said you started doing this, and then you found the editor girl, and you're like, okay. And then, you start putting together like we had this many people. But you said something earlier to that effect, too. And I really like that, too. You said, I turned it over and I let other people run it, and I make money while I sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the deal breaker right there. You know what I'm saying? Let other people run it. You know the ins and outs, but people that know more than me, you know what I'm saying? Let them handle this, that, and the third. I oversee it. And while they working like me, I work a regular job. My CEO making money while I'm out there working while he sleep. That's what I want to get to.
Listen, and if I could throw this in there, what I encourage a lot of people to do is to really recognize, especially in the state of the economy in the world today, is there's three different things. There's self-employed. So you work for yourself. But if you don't work, you don't eat. You kill what you catch. There's entrepreneurs. These are creators. But to be a creator means you're constantly creating. So you can only cash in on what you can create. Mm-hmm. But then there's being a business owner. And that's where most people think they are, but they're not. Being a business owner means I've created systems, structures, strategies that are working for me, even if I'm not working them. Mm. And everybody's got to decide which of those they want to be. To me, I said, I've been building things since I was 12. At this stage of my journey, I don't have an interest in building anything from scratch anymore. What I have an interest in doing, and this is something maybe we do another show about another day, what I have an interest in doing is buying what somebody else built. Mm. So and let that become a cash flowing asset that makes more money than real estate on an annual return, makes more money on average than investing in the stock market. Why not buy what somebody else has already proven works?
So let me ask you just real quick, because I ran into a lady named Ann Peltz. Shout out to Ann. And she connected me because we're talking about making money while you sleep. And after we did the interview, Bishop, she texted me on the phone and say, CJ, I want to help you make money while you sleep. Older white lady. And I say, okay, Ann. And she connected me to business. It's called acquisition networks. You know what I'm saying? Where you can buy into businesses and things of that nature. And they'll run like for 20%, they'll run the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? All you do is come to a couple of meetings here and there throughout the week, and they'll run it. Or you can take the 100% or whatever and then run it yourself, And then she gave me some mortgage stuff. Like you can pay a 30-year off mortgage in 5 years, and things of that nature. So with the business acquisition thing, what I want to ask you, because you say buy something that somebody else had that's already been approved with commodities. That's, what I'm saying? Do that fit like something in that realm?
It could. So it could. I don't know a lot of the details of it. It could. I just know right now, 1 out of every 12 businesses in America that's for sale sales. So it's a buyer's market. We're about to have a large pool of baby boomers, et cetera, that are going to be retiring. And most of them own a lot of businesses that they don't have anybody to hand it to. So either the business collapses or they sell it. And from that, when I talk about acquisitions, that's what I'm referring to, acquiring existing, profitable, cash flowing businesses that already have system, structure, strategy in place where you come in, you may make some changes or you may make no changes. In fact, many times you don't want a business you have to make changes to because you're buying something that's already working. A lot of us have been taught, you got to grind, get it out the mud. And that's good to learn how to do. Mm-hmm. What happens though, back to where we started, I have a special set of skills. I know how to take nothing and turn it into something. So what can I do with something that's already something, turning it into a bigger something? And so that's the phase and stage I'm in from the business standpoint. And so when it comes to that, that's what I'm talking about. But there's lots of ways to get there. I just know that most of us have never been taught that you don't have to start everything. You can buy something somebody else started. And here's what's crazy. You can do it with lots of different creative financing ways, seller financing ways in particular, where they'll help you to buy them out of their business. That's what I do. And I love that. That's exciting to me. Because listen, starting stuff from scratch is fun, but building, for example, Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett only came to, and I don't say this to diminish his accomplishments, he just buys into businesses. He just acquires businesses. Some of them he'll acquire, some of them he acquires portions of them. He has become, what do they call him? The Oracle of Omaha And he doesn't own any of that in terms of, let me correct that. He doesn't operate any of those businesses. We've been taught to be operators, but this next wave of wealth transfer, you're going to be an owner. You don't have to be the operator.
I like it too. And like you say, Bishop, we're going to have to come back on again for some more stuff because I talk to a lot of people and, they talk about how when you build a business, you got to have your exit strategy. So your paperwork and your accounts got to be in order because like you just said, because when you come in, I want to come into something that's already ready to go. I don't have to make too many changes with it. I want to run it like an oil well machine. I've been talking to a lot of people, Bishop, man. So I'm learning as I go, man. I listen while I'm on here, man. That's why I'm listening to you, Bishop. Bishop, man, my last question, man. Let me ask you, how can people build legacy while navigating modern distractions and doubt?
Let's deal with doubt. Doubt is natural. Doubt is normal. What you have to do with doubt is interrogate it. When doubt shows up, you have to interrogate that doubt. Why are you here? What are you saying? What are you trying to stop me from? On the other side of doubt is often something that is going to be incredible for you. On the other side of doubt is often something that's going to be a great blessing to you. So you're going to deal with doubt. Trying to avoid it is ridiculous. Instead, you need to learn how to confront it. So when doubts show up with me, I confront the doubt. I'm like, let's talk. Let me interrogate you. What are you here for? What am I afraid of? What is it that I think I don't know enough of? Or I think, there's an insecurity or whatever. Deal with the doubt. Don't avoid it. So let's deal with doubt. Then to the distractions, to me, it's like this. Anything that can distract you is really telling you that you have an issue with your will. Meaning, do you really desire what you say you desire to the level you say you desire it? Because when you do, distractions are easily identifiable. They're difficult to identify when you don't really know what you want. So to deal with distractions, be clear about what you want so that anything that's not aligned with that path, I can say that's a distraction, that's a distraction, that's a distraction. So deal with the doubt and then be clear about where you're headed so that you can deal with the distractions.
I like it, man. Deal with the doubt so you can be clear how to deal with the distractions. Hey, Bishop, I appreciate you coming on, man. Before we leave, give me one thing that's on your heart that you would like to share with the people, man, before we get out of here.
Man, you know what? Here's what I say. Depending on whenever they see this episode, that this last quarter 4, is going to be the best of your year, best of your life. I'm a believer in this, that God can do in one moment what hasn't happened in years. And so whenever you're seeing this, here's the takeaway, that one move can change everything. One decision can change everything. One prayer can change everything. One meeting, one thing can change everything. So here's the takeaway. Last thing on my heart, as you said, one thing can change everything.
One thing can change everything. And so that you know, this episode will be out November 25th, 2025, before Thanksgiving. I had to put my man Bishop Foreman on that list, man. I got, you say you should start things different, man. So in November, I'm glad I got you and actually just wrote on it. In November, I'm having Black History Month in November. I got all black men on my list for the month of November, man, and you on November 25th, man.
Oh, man, listen, this is powerful. Thank you for that. Even more powerful because watch this. There's a month left. Let's let this last month be the best month of this year and our lives. One thing can change everything.
That's why I want to put it out there, man. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of strong black men, man, that I got. And I was going through some stuff the other day. I said, you know what? And I just rearranged some stuff, whatever. I said, this is what I'm going to do. Change the narrative because we can only have Black History Month in February, which I do got something for that. But I think I'm going to put all women on there. And I said, you know what? I had Bishop here and I got such and such here. I said, you know what? I got enough black men that I can fill a whole month up with. So I'm going to have Black History Month in November, man. So be looking out for that, man. That's what we're going to do in November. So Bishop Kevin, I appreciate you, man. You just reminded us that transformation starts with one decision to keep showing up when the world says you can't. If today's conversation sparks something within you, share this episode with someone who's building their own legacy. Subscribe to the CJ Moneyway Show for more brick by brick stories of faith, hustle, and purpose. And if you want to go deeper, check out the links in the show notes to connect with Bishop Kevin Ford, PhD, and his work, and with me. Keep up with all things Moneyway. And till the next time, it's your boy CJ Moneyway with my man Bishop Kevin Foreman. Hey, we out of here. Peace.
Hey, before you go, let me leave you with this. Every story shared here, it's a reminder that your story matters too. Keep your faith sharp, keep your focus steady, keep your vision clear. And if this episode gave you wisdom, hope, or a push forward, share it with somebody you love. Tap in with me on all platforms, Edge Moneyway, and stay locked into the movement. Because God's not done writing your chapter. This is the CJ Moneyway Show. Brick by brick. And always. Moneyway.
Fall is all about cozy comforts, but when you're prioritizing your health, it's easy to feel like you're missing out. With Hero Bread, you can enjoy all your fall favorites because they're made with Hero Bread sliced bread loaves, tortillas, bagels, dinner rolls, and more. Try their all-new Hero Noodles with 12 grams of protein and just 80 calories. You won't believe Hero Bread's options have 0 to 5 grams net carbs and are high fiber from the taste and texture. They've even got small batch drops of indulgent favorites like the popular Hero Croissant. And right now, Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code FALL25 at checkout. That's FALL25 at hero.co. All figures are per serving of Hero Bread. Contains 2 to 18 grams of fat per serving. See the product nutrition panels on hero.co for more information.
Oh, hey Mike, we just got another 5-star review. I can't believe I got my order so fast.
Oh, nice.
Oh, here's another one. Easiest exchange ever. Loyal customer for life.
Now that's what I'm talking about, boss.
Mike, we've gotten more rave reviews in the last 2 months than we ever have. What are we doing differently?
Well, our order fulfillment needed an upgrade, so I've been trying out ShipStation with their 60-day free trial.
Well, with reviews like these, I'm sold.
Me too. ShipStation automates everything all in one place. They're way more comprehensive than the other solutions I was considering.
Oh, look at this. Our spend went down too.
Oh, that's because ShipStation's rate browser compares over 200 carriers to ensure we get the best rates, up to 90% off.
Nice work. We needed this upgrade with how fast we're growing.
Upgrade to ShipStation today and get a 60-day free trial with unlimited access to all features at ShipStation.com with code AUDIO.
You've finally broken loose from work. 3 friends, 1 tea time, and then the text. Honey, there's water in the basement. Not exactly how you pictured your Saturday. That's when you call us, Cincinnati Insurance. We always answer the call because real protection means showing up, even when things are in the rough. Cincinnati Insurance. Let us make your bad day better. Find an agent at CINFIN.com.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.